For me, it's good and bad.
We have no.
For me, the good part of it is that everybody can have access to it as long as it has a computer, which is not the case around the world. But the very good thing is that we have to reinvent a new market, because actually in this market for 40 years there were some big boss making a lot of money on the back of everybody, the artists and the people who were buying music. So for me that's a pretty good change, that we have to reinvent a new way of selling music. The problem is that there were no anticipation of that reality. So I don't think it's good for people to think, young people to think that music is free, because it's not. It costs something to produce music, so it's not free in the reality. But the fact that, yeah, the old way of selling music and making a lot of money out of music is over, it's not a bad thing, I think. Because, musicians have to go back on the road and fight again, and maybe fighting is a good way of doing good stuff.
I think internet is like kind of democracy. People or bands, they have more opportunities to promote their music, but in the opposite, we are like drops in an ocean of bands, and it's not easy to live with what we play. I think it's a little bit harder than before. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I have this kind of feeling that there are so many good bands, and we don't know how to take the head a little bit higher from the water of the ocean of bands.
Yeah.
There are with everything, with every new things, there are good aspects and bad aspects, and we have to take that as a reality, a new reality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big, tricky question. It's going to take many years, I think, to answer to that one. But yeah, I still think that the fact that it changed is a good thing. We went to Nepal 2 years ago, and people there, they all have most of them have access to internet, so they can discover a lot of albums they will never be able to buy 10 years ago, because they're getting like $50 a month to live, so there's no way they can buy records to Occidental sellers at the price they sell it. I mean, if you go to Asia, most of the countries, they have official shops selling copies, because nobody had enough money there to buy original CDs for already 30 years back in the time. I mean, since the tape came in, they were selling copies in Africa, in Asia, everywhere where people don't have the money to buy it. So it's tricky. I think the commercial part in an artistic world is always a big question that put everybody in a bad situation, because it's a weird feeling. The only important part for me is like to find a system to make the artist being able to live out of it. That's it. It's the only important part.
Yes, now we have more tools to promote our music, but it means that we must more work with those tools, and sometimes we have a lack of time to play music. That's maybe one of the problems sometimes. With computers we can produce our music too, it's good, but we have to learn how to do it if we want to produce some good quality, and sometimes we forget to play music, and we forget we don't have enough time to play and to practice our instruments, guitars, etc.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem, I think, with technology. How to use it, but not to be the slave of this technology. I think it's sometimes not easy.
Yeah, I think it's a really complicated topic, because music can't be free. I think people can't imagine how many hours it needs to produce a song and actually to practice an instrument. for one song, how many hours do you think it needs to produce a song? If you want to a good job, maybe that will be just one day for vocal and guitar or vocal and piano, but for a pop song, a metal song, or which has actually instruments in it, I mean guitar, drums, real drums, that can take easily between 80 and 100 hours. And I think people can't imagine that. I teach the guitar, and sometimes I have students here to record projects, just one song, and after maybe 5 or 6 hours, just they tell me, oh man, this is so hard, so complicated. And I have to play right, and I didn't imagine that was so hard to record something, and that's just 3, 4, 5 hours, and just to produce one song, you can't imagine how many hours we can spend on them.
Without even talking about the writing part.
Yeah. Even the writing part is a really important part. Yeah. People should be aware of that. Just to respect a little bit more, instead of just stealing music on the internet.
Yeah, it's not music is never been just a product. I think that's the tension about this whole question. Music is more than just a product. Yeah. You give the value to an artist in the way that, I mean, about the feelings he's giving to you when you listen to his job, and that's not valuable. I mean, for me, there's some artists I will give them 100 francs every year to be able to listen to their music, because I know how hard they work to produce that, and I know how good I feel when I listen to it. So it's very hard to give a value to that thing.
Right,
it's pretty much like a painting. If the value of a painting was just about the technique they use, the painter used to do something, or about the quality of the result, it's nothing about it. It's art, and market has always been something tricky, and it's very, very difficult to answer to all those questions. People don't realize it.
But on the other hand, internet is a really good tool for many, bands who are pretty, young bands. This is really useful for that kind of bands. Maybe 15 years ago, if you wanted to promote your band, you needed to promote with by mail, not electronic mail or internet.
Physical mail.
Yeah, physical mail.
Yeah.
And you had to promote your bands with by sending your CD to magazines or newspapers or anything. That was a lot more hard to promote a band.
Yeah.
And now the fact that you can just listen to snippets on the internet, this is just amazing. Just to discover
it's a revolution.
New bands.
For sure, it's a revolution.
Yeah. And the problem is just that if people can get something free, they won't pay anything if they can have free.
Yeah.
Just maybe it's
it's a human reaction.
It's a human reaction. Yeah.
Why should you be the only one asshole who is paying for the CD? I mean, you can do it because it's a ethic position, but most of the people are not having that much money. And when you're a big fan of music, I mean, I understand people who are downloading albums every day. I understand it. I did it for like 3 or 4 albums. Mostly what I use the internet to discover bands, to hear new songs, new bands, and then when I listen many times to a thing and I really love it, and then I go buy the CDs. But I'm Swiss, so I'm like 1,000 times richer than most of the human being living on this planet. I have the financial capacity to buy CDs, which is not the case of one human out of, a lot of human on this planet for sure. That's also something very special. We don't realize that we are able to buy that music, which a lot of people are not able to do. It's an Occidental market. It's something special. And yeah, it's tricky. Thing I want to say. We played this in November with another band, with Behemoth, and it's pretty surprising to me to see how the people look at those kind of bands, because they are very well known, then there are headliners in the metal scene, but those guys, there's only the singer who's really living out of it. All the other members, they're giving guitar course or they're doing some other activities to make money, to be able to live. So even big bands, they don't even really live 12 months, a year out of their music. And the kids, they look at them and they think that they are driving Cadillacs and having big houses with beaches and swimming pools and taking cocaine all day. But that's not the reality. There's a lot of big bands, very well-known bands, who are not making a lot of money out of it in the metal scenes. I bet there's like only 15, 20 bands in the metal scenes who are making a lot of money. A lot.
No.
Good money.
Even a lot.
But that's it. It's 15, 20 bands, guys. It's no more than that. Stop looking at those bands like they are rock stars. They are not rock stars. You take the example of Meshuggah. They're working very well for the past 6, 7, 8 years. But before that, I'm a very old fan of Meshuggah. I really like their music. But the first time I saw them in Geneva, there was like 20 people in the room. That was it. That was it. They were not making any money out of it. And their music was almost even better than what they're doing now. They were already very good. And they were not living out of it.
I think.
No, they're big. Now they're getting big.
Yeah,
now they're big. But
they're big, but
they've
they're
been...
not going... Yeah.
They are big.
Rich.
No, they're not rich, for sure. Half of the money they're making on an album, they put it on the next album.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. That's the reality. Meshuggah is one of the biggest bands now in the metal scene, and they're not rich people. So you have to think about it. We still have that old reflex of the 80s, Metallica and all those bands, Aerosmith and all those bands who are playing in the front of 80,000 people in big football stadium. But that's over for a long time. And it's 2 or 3 bands. That's it. There's, Motley Crue, Metallica.
Yeah, sure.
And then some heavy metal. Yeah, Guns N' Roses. But it's like 8 years in the metal scene history, in the heavy metal history. That's it. We have a wrong view out of this system, I think. People look at it and they don't realize what's behind. It's totally different. And even the big pop artists, they're making a lot of money on one album, on one single, and then that's it. No, there's not everybody who is Pharrell Williams doing a hit every 6 months. There's a lot of artists, great artists, who are making money out of it for a few years on 1 or 2 records, and then it's over. That's a reality, I think. Because nobody wants to live 10 months, a year away from home. We are people, we are men, we are women. We want to stay with our children and shit. It's difficult now. If you want to make money out of it, you got to play every night. And who wants to do that now? Being away from home, it's quite difficult life. You make money in concert.
Yeah, sure.
You don't sell CDs, you make money playing concerts, though. Like in the Middle Age.
You don't have a